Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome to another edition of Sports Shop 27. I'm your host, Jermaine Colter. And to the far right, we got Kevin Johnson, KJ. And in the middle, we got former Florida State Hall of Fame quarterback,
That's right.
former
Come on, Jermaine.
Clemson offensive coordinator, former Bethune-Cookman assistant coach,
Look at him,
former
man.
UCF assistant coach, former East Carolina assistant coach, and former South Carolina
Keep going, man. Keep going.
assistant
Got more.
coach, and
The
now
show's gonna be over here.
Middle Tennessee State University head coach Rick Stockstill. What's going on, Rick?
Yes.
There it is,
What's
man.
going on, Coach?
Okay, yeah, I love you, brother. How are you, man?
Yeah, doing good. Love you too.
Woo, that was a long
Yes,
day.
sir.
I'm tired already.
I didn't know you could clean up that well down in Orangeburg.
Man, you heard that, KJ? Oh man,
Yeah, looking
Good
good.
stuff.
So, how you doing today?
I'm great, Jermaine. Thanks for having me on, brother. Looking forward
Yeah.
to this. Yeah, well,
Looking
we'll have a
good.
good time here. We'll tell a bunch of lies and it'll be a lot of fun.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let the people know where you're from for the people that don't know, and a little bit about your background, Coach.
Yeah,
Jermaine.
Ohio.
Yeah, I was born in Ohio, but I got out there when I was like 2 years old, something like that. And my family, we moved to Kentucky, Georgetown, right outside of Lexington. And so I grew up there and then moved to Florida, Fernandina Beach, north of Jacksonville, the summer of my junior year of high school. So I really claim Kentucky is where I grew up, and went to Florida State, and then I went in the coaching business and kind of bounced around here this will be my 39th year coaching college. So bounced around a little bit between Bethune-Cookman and Central Florida, Clemson, East Carolina. Well, you rattled them off, South Carolina, and now here. So it's kind of where I've been. Been very fortunate, Jermaine. Thank you.
No problem, Coach. No problem. You've been a big impact on a lot of players. Your name been mentioned a lot on the show. Hey, we had to bring you on. So this is Mother's Day edition, of Sports Shop 27. We got Rick Stockstill in the house. This is a big gunslinger quarterback from Florida State. He was actually head of that team when Bowden got his first undefeated season. So big shout out to Coach Bowden as well. So, Coach, talk about playing football in your town when you were coming up. Who were the biggest influences in your life back then?
My dad was a high school coach, and so I grew up in coaching, or grew up in being around sports, and I played football, baseball, and basketball like everybody growing up, and just enjoyed it. Started at an early age. Back then, when I was growing up, that there wasn't weight limits and all that kind of stuff like there is now. There wasn't flag football. I started playing, tackle football in the second grade, I think it was. It was the first time. And then I think baseball, you could start playing maybe in kindergarten or something like that. And then basketball was like third grade, maybe fourth grade. So started playing all those at a really young age, and, just went through up to high school. I played everything through, I guess, my 9th grade year. And then about the 10th grade year, I started just playing football and baseball, and did that through the rest of my high school. And then when I went to Florida State, obviously I just played one sport. So, but grew up in it, and just loved everything about sports and what it teaches you and helps you develop as a man.
Hey, Coach. Hey, what position in baseball and basketball? What position was you playing?
In baseball, I was a catcher, and I pitched a little bit, but not much. I was a catcher back there, and I loved that. I loved, you felt like you were, the pitcher's in control, but you touched the ball every time, and almost like a quarterback. So you felt like you were involved in that. I love being a catcher, except during practice when everybody else is out there shagging fly balls and all that. You're back there getting beat up catching BP, and then you're always the last one to hit. And by then, the coach is ready to, sack everything up. So you get cut short some swings and all that. And then basketball, the 1, the 2, the 3, all that stuff wasn't invented back then. You know,
okay.
I was a shooting guard, KJ. You know,
Shooting guard.
my philosophy was I was going to get my 20, and then I was going to start working on assists. After that, I wasn't getting no assists until I got my 20. And
Yeah.
you know, 'cause I used to always say them girls, they don't check out who got the most assists. They want to know who's scoring points. You know,
That's right.
I tried to score.
Good.
That's what's up, Coach. So, talk about your recruiting process, leaving high school and the teams that were coming for you, and the ones that you are deciding on, and how you ended up at Florida State.
Jermaine, it was obviously recruiting has changed immensely in the last 10 years, 20, even when, you know, KJ, you guys were coming out, that it's changed so much. I don't even know if stars were invented, KJ, when you were coming out. You know, I don't know if they were then. And, you know, but Florida State was my only offer. We had moved to Florida, like I said, the summer of my junior year. And I went to their football camp the summer going into my senior year. And camps then weren't what they are now. There was no such thing as one-day camps or prospect camps, all that stuff. You know, you went there for a week, you know, and so I went to Florida State. That's the only camp I went to. And, you know, then they started recruiting me going into my senior year there and offered me. And but that was the only school. I had some smaller schools that had talked to me. And I don't know if I remember Troy State was one of them, but I didn't have a lot of choices, Jermaine. I was very fortunate to go to Florida State and have the opportunity to play for Coach Bowden and the rest of my teammates there.
Man. Oh, yeah.
So, did you play any high school all-star games or anything?
One more time, Jermaine. I lost you, buddy.
Did you play in any high school all-star games your senior year?
I heard that I played something my senior year. I missed you.
Yeah, he said, did you play any high school all-star games in high school?
They didn't have those, KJ. You know, the Florida-Georgia game wasn't invented back then. The North-South, the Shrine Bowl, they didn't have those in Florida. And I don't know if any, you know, I don't know anybody that, you know, had those opportunities. Those just weren't really, you know, the Under Armours, the Nike stuff, you know, all that stuff wasn't invented yet. So it was, you know, you kind of went to camps and coaching was a lot different, or recruiting was a lot different back then than what it is now. It's so much easier now on a college coach because the NCAA mandates how much time you can be out and all that kind of stuff. But even back then, even when KJ, you know, I could go see KJ once a week. I could go see him, you know, I could call him every day, you know, I could do all that. And now you can only go, you know, you can call once a week. You can go see him a total of 6 times, you know, throughout the course of the year. So it's changed so much, you know, KJ, since you played, let alone when I played.
Yeah.
So, talk about, you know, your first year at Florida State. Did you start it or were you back up? Who was the starter then?
No, you know, Jermaine, back then when I went there as a freshman, you were not allowed to redshirt. You could not redshirt as a freshman. You had a JV schedule. So, you know, we played, I remember we played Auburn, we played LSU, Florida. We played most of their freshmen and guys that weren't playing much. So I played 1 snap my freshman year in the Tangerine Bowl. It was late in the game, and it was a quarterback sneak, and I probably went a yard. And, you know, I felt like I was going 50 yards. I said, hey, I may score. You know, I get up and I gained a yard, you know. So I played 1 snap as a freshman. I was on the scout team, and then I redshirted the next year, my sophomore year. And then my 3rd year, I mopped up games, got in there. I may have thrown 15 passes the whole year. But Wally Woodham was the quarterback, and Jimmy Jordan. Those 2 guys were ahead of me. and then they graduated, and then I started the 80 and 81 season, my last 2 years.
Okay. So you guys started out big in 80. You guys were like 9-1. I guess you went to the Orange Bowl that year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Right number 2.
Yeah, that was my junior year, Jermaine. We we lost to the University of Miami down there by 1 point. And then the next week we went to Nebraska, and they were ranked number 3 in the country, and we beat them out there. They had a really good team. Jarvis Redwine. I know you guys are too young. You don't remember all those names, but Sideline Redwine, but those guys, we were fortunate to beat them. Then the next week we came home and we played University of Pittsburgh, and Dan Marino was a quarterback, and they had Hugh Green was a defensive end. Jackson was the other defensive end. Mark May was the offensive tackle. I mean, they were loaded. They had a great team, and we beat them, and we go into the, so we ended up, because you only played 11 games back then. So we were 10-1 going into the Orange Bowl, and played Oklahoma, and we were number 2, and they were number 4, number 5, and they scored late, went for 2 and got it, and beat us kind of at the buzzer, 18-17. So we ended up 4th or 5th in the country that year.
Okay. Wow. So I have a clip here, when you guys playing against Pittsburgh. This is like 1980. After you guys beat, I guess, Nebraska. Let's go ahead and check it out real quick.
All right,
I want to let fans know that Rick was a gunslinger for real, and he was mobile. He could move. So let's go ahead and check that out real quick.
For the second consecutive week in the 1980 season, Florida State would take on the nation's third-ranked team. The only difference is that this week the contest would be at home. The competition, however, would not be any easier. In Mission Impossible, the sequel, Florida State would line up against the 4-0 Pitt Panthers.
I've never played against a team better personnel. Marino was the quarterback. Hugh Green was the end. He won the one. I mean, they had 17 guys, I think, that went to the pros. 17 that went to the pros. Probably 13 or 14 of them played. Unbelievable. I think it's the best team I've ever played against and won.
Seminole defenders played ferocious football, causing the heralded Pitt offense to commit 7 turnovers, 3 interceptions, and 4 fumbles.
We believed we could beat them, and we kept swarming and never gave up. Dan Marino and crew was extremely talented. I believe they scored on us extremely early. We didn't get down. We were a mature group. We kept our poise and our confidence, and we kept on fighting, and we always believed that somehow, some way, we'd win that game.
We made a lot of adjustments ourselves and at half times and on the field where we would take some chances and others would cover, and it seemed, whether through luck or good work or hard work or teamwork or any of the other things, to work out for us.
For the home heroes, an offensive innovation helped shred the Pitt defense.
What we would do is if he called an off-tackle play, he'd call it to the right and to the left. And so the boys would go up the line of scrimmage and knew we were going to run off-tackle, but they didn't know if we could go to the right or left. Then our quarterback would see where they were overloaded. Jimmy Johnson was the defensive coach at that time. He was a great defensive coach. And he would overload where he thought you were going to run. Well, our quarterback would go up and see the overload here, so he'd call off-tackle left. And he just mirrored it.
A defense that gave up an average of 5 points a game would give up 36 on this night. A defense that was allowing only 31 yards per game rushing would give up 163 on this night. And a defense that was only allowing 177 yards per game surrendered an impressive 290 on this night.
It was a super challenge for us. Offensively, we went into the game with a lot of checks or combos, and we called a lot of the plays at the line of scrimmage. We had success doing that. Sam Platt broke a couple long runs. Sam Childers, we threw a couple touchdown passes. Sam Childers and Kurt Unglob made great catches on touchdowns.
Finally, a special teams performance that many rank among the finest ever helped the Noles pull out the victory.
Gosh, you know, if you look at you know, the 5 field goals that I kicked, kicking all the balls out of the end zone on kickoffs, and what Stark did, you know, his punting average I think was like 48 yards over, you know, several punts. If you look in the history of college football, you may not find a performance like that where both the punter and the kicker, you know, did something like that in one game.
For the second consecutive week of the 1980 season, Florida State had played giant killer.
To beat those two schools, both ranked number 3 in the country, were just something that I'll remember forever, and I think it did a lot for Florida State University in giving not only the football and athletic programs at Florida State, but the entire school there a lot of confidence and a lot of pride that they were part of Florida State University.
To win those games back-to-back meant once and for all to every young prospect in the country, to every fan that ever doubted the Florida State football family and program, that, hey, these people can play, and they're for real. And yes, Coach Bowden's for real.
And took it back.
Yes, sir. We back, Coach.
Let's Slanger.
So you guys were actually running like the I formation back then?
Oh yeah, I mean,
running at Florida State.
Shotgun wasn't invented. The shotgun wasn't invented, and I don't know if you could tell, but the receivers were in a 3-point stance back then. So
yeah,
I mean, when you played cover 2, KJ, you know, guys weren't pressing unless it was man to man. If you're like cover 2, you know, they're off at 4 or 5 yards and just squatted right there and waited for you for your inside or outside release to get a jam on you. So. But all that, you know, standing up as a receiver and then, you know, the shotgun stuff wasn't really invented yet.
Okay, cool. So you went on that year. Go ahead, KJ.
Yeah. How was it playing with Reggie Herring? I saw him on a video. How was that, man?
Yeah, KJ, Reggie and I, we came in together. We came in together as freshmen, and Reggie's he's a special friend. I love him. You know, I had the unique. Not many people, you know, I don't think, you know, can say in the coaching profession that you went to college with a guy and you had an opportunity to coach, you know, on the college level with him. So Reggie was a tremendous competitor, just like, you know, he was, as you know him as a coach, KJ.
That's right.
Just a tremendous friend, a tremendous teammate, and was a really good college player. He's in the Florida State Hall of Fame, and he's coaching in the NFL now with the Denver Broncos. You know, so he's had not only a great college career, but a great coaching and professional career.
That's good. That's good. You in the Hall of Fame also too, right?
Sir?
You in the Hall of Fame also too at Florida State.
Down year, they had to put somebody in there, I think. You know, so no, but you know, I guess I went in 2 years ago, KJ, in 2019, and you know, a long time is separated from my plate and going in, and you know, it was really, really special. I think the longer, you know, you're out of it, you know, and then you go in it just maybe more mature, you know, to be able to understand it better than if it had happened when I was 25 years old or 28, you know, that, you know, just, I have such a great appreciation, you know, for that honor. You know, it was really, you know, kind of a special, when they called me that summer about it, it was pretty emotional, to be honest with you.
So talk about the rivalry you guys had with Florida Gators. What was that like back in 1980?
Yeah, you know, it was anytime in state, you know, it's not a whole lot of difference between Clemson and South Carolina, Georgia, Georgia Tech, Alabama, Auburn. You know, those in-state rivalries are always intense. You know, some of the players, not like the players know each other now, because, you know, we didn't camp like they do now. So we weren't at all the different camps where guys get to know each other. The social media stuff wasn't invented back then. So, you know, you're not communicating with them, you know, like they do now, but we still knew some of them, but you know, your fans let you know how important and how intense that rivalry was. And for the longest, you know, when my freshman year, when we beat them, that was the first time Florida State had beaten Florida in like 10 or so, I mean, for a long, long time. And, you know, Florida was the dominating program. They were about to shut down Florida State football in 1976 or 1975 because they'd had just a tremendous long drought of losing. And before Coach Bowden had gotten there, they had won. They went 0-11, 1-10, 1-10. You know, and it was more like Coach Bowden, this is the last hope. You know, you're either going to save this program, change it, or we're going to shut it down. And, you know, it kind of took off from then. So, but no, it was even the Miami game, you know, Florida State, Miami, the Florida State game was a lot more intense than the Florida State Miami game, but still there was that rivalry, that sense, you know, of competitiveness there in that game. The Florida State Miami game, that rivalry intensified, you know, more into the 90s there when they had all the, you know, both teams had such great players and all those missed field goals.
Okay, cool. So you leave Florida State and you end up coaching. Where's the first coaching job you landed?
My first job was Bethune-Cookman College, and you know, they're in Daytona. And you know, I went to Florida State wanting to coach. I knew I wanted to coach, but I always thought I was going to be a high school coach. I was just going to graduate and I was going to go back home and coach with my dad or coach at a high school there. And but when I got to Florida State, you know, and I kind of, you know, going there, all you know is high school. KJ, when you got to Clemson, all you knew was OW. Jermaine, when you got to Georgia State, all you knew was, you know, OW, you know, so all I knew was high school ball. And then when I got to Florida State and got around Coach Bowden and those coaches and everything, I said, you know, I'd kind of like to try this gig maybe. So Larry Little, who was the former NFL, he's in the NFL Hall of Fame, offensive lineman for the Miami Dolphins, had just gotten the job. And so I had graduated and, you know, I'm piddling around Tallahassee, odd jobs, just working, trying to find, you know, a real job. And one of my buddies that I played with was a GA at Florida State. And he said, and again, this is pre-cell phone, so pre-email, you know, so you can't get in touch with people like you can today. And I saw my buddy and he said, hey, Larry Little's been calling the office for like 2 or 3 days trying to get a hold of you. I said, who's Larry Little? And he goes, Larry Little to play for the Dolphins. And I said, what's he want me for? And he said he just got the job at Bethune. And so he had called Coach Bowden. He'd called Coach Snellenberger at Miami, and he'd called Coach Charlie Pell at Florida and asked if there was anybody there that could coach the quarterbacks and be the offensive coordinator. So Coach Bowden recommended me. Coach Snellenberger recommended somebody, and Coach Charlie Pell recommended somebody from Florida. And so I guess we all went down there at different times and interviewed, and you know, Larry offered me the job. And so I went down there and I got there like a week or 2 weeks before spring practice. I get there. How about this? You know, I get there. So I don't know a soul in Daytona. I've never been to Daytona really. So I get there. So I'm going to drive to the beach. I'm going to just check out the beach. My first day there is Black College spring break. Okay. So man, I say, hey, all right, let's go, baby. So I get there, I find me an apartment, all that, da-da-da-da-da. So the next week going there, it's Black Biker Week in Daytona. You know, so I said, man, I know what I was doing. So I was, those were my first 2 weeks there. And then we started spring practice. And like I was telling you earlier, Jermaine, heck, I'm a year older than the seniors. I'm 2 years older than the junior. I don't know what I'm doing. I carry Florida State's playbook in there, and we start coaching, and I loved it. Other than the bus rides, and my first year there, I was telling you earlier, we played Delaware State, and John Taylor, the wide receiver, caught the winning touchdown pass for 49ers there against the Bengals a long time ago. He was their wide receiver. We leave Daytona Wednesday night after practice and drive 21 or 22 hours, whatever it is, to Dover, Delaware, turn around the next day and drive back. We get back like Monday afternoon, Monday morning, start practicing again. Next week, we go to Mississippi Valley State, got Jerry Rice. That's about 16, 17 hours. The next week, we go to Grambling, play Grambling. And black colleges, who's ever the home team, you're always going to get a delay game penalty coming out of halftime because the band's going to stay on the field, forever. So this is my first experience with that. We're playing Grambling, and we score late, right before the end of the first half. And they're winning like, may say 17-14, but we'd taken 2 straight drives down and scored, and I'm feeling good. I go in there at halftime, and I'm talking to them, let's go, we're coming out. So you're coming out, and you're waiting. You can't get on the field because the band's out there, and they're going at it. And I looked, and our guys on their sideline, they're jamming, and all that stuff. I said, oh, no, we ain't got a chance. And, they end up beating us. So then the next week we played Howard in Washington, and that was like 15, 16 hours. And then the fifth one was South Carolina State with Barney Bussey. He ran, I'll tell you a little story about that game. We kick off to start the second half. He runs it back 100 yards for a touchdown. They kick off to us. Our receiver, Leon Gonzalez, runs it back 100 yards for a touchdown. We kick off to them. Barney Bussey runs it back about 80 yards, and we finally tackled him. I almost saw 3 in a row kickoff returns. Wow. So that was like going across the street because that was only like 6 or 7 hours. And then the next year we played them all at home. And then, like I told you, Jermaine, I said, man, I'm either getting out of coaching or I'm going to find me a new job, but I can't get on that bus anymore and go 20 hours. So, but no, I love Bethune-Cookman. I love Larry Little. I learned so much, have so much respect, for the HBCUs and everything. Just great players, great coaches, very probably underappreciated, maybe under-respected, how good the coaching is, how good the players are at that level. So, but no, that was two great years other than the bus rides.
Cool. So you leave Bethune-Cookman, ended up at Central Florida, correct?
Yeah, I went to Central Florida from there. The linebacker coach, excuse me, the linebacker coach when I was playing at Florida State got the head job at UCF. So he hired me there. And, man, I got fired up talking. I got to get me a drink of water. Hold on.
Yeah, go get some water.
I said one thing we're going to do. We ain't no way we're going to beat Woody. We ain't no way we're going to beat, all them other guys you've had on there. But we dang sure going to have a better show than what y'all had with Billy D. Okay? So we're going to beat Billy D. But so Gene McDowell got the head job there, and
you hear that, Billy D?
Yeah, Billy D ain't on there. Billy D's cutting his grass. He's trying to get yard of the month there. So, but so I went to UCF, and we were Division II then, and so went there, and we made the Division II playoffs my last 2 years there. The second year we got beaten the first round. The second year, I think it was, we got beaten the semifinals. But a lot of great players there. Sean Jefferson was my wide receiver. He was from Jacksonville Reigns. Played in the league for 12 or 13 years and is coaching in the NFL now. His son, Van Jefferson, was a second-round pick with the Rams last year. He's a great receiver. So we had a lot of good players there also.
Okay, cool. So you leave Central Florida and you ended up where? East Carolina?
No, I went to Clemson from there.
Clemson.
Yeah,
Clemson.
that was
Quarterback coach at
1989.
Clemson.
That was 1989, Jermaine, and went there. Danny Ford was, the head coach there, and I went there and I was coaching the quarterbacks, and had a great year. Won 10 games and went to the Gator Bowl and beat West Virginia. And then Coach, they made a change with Coach Ford and brought Ken Hatfield in from Arkansas. And I was fortunate enough to stay on there and was there with him for 4 years. And then they made another change. And, that's when they brought in Tommy West. And I was, again, fortunate enough to stay and was 5 years. And they made another change and brought in Tommy Bowden. And I was fortunate enough to stay with Coach Bowden and learned a lot from him. And then after 4 years with Coach, I was there 14 years and I was trying to, be a coordinator and all that. So I went to East Carolina there for just 1 year at East Carolina. So, but I was at Clemson for 14 and just, loved every day of it and loved all the players, that you coached, you recruited, that you were interacting, a lot of great coaches. So that's where both my kids were born there, Brent and Emily, and just a lot of great memories from Clemson, but especially the players there that I was involved with.
Cool.
Good, man.
So you leave there, you go to Carolina, South Carolina East Carolina, correct?
Yep. Went there to East Carolina 1 year. They had just hired John Thompson. He was a first-year head coach. The athletic director resigned in the summer, and then we're getting off the bus to play University of Miami Hurricanes, and getting off that Saturday, and they say the president just resigned. So I'm sitting there thinking to myself, this ain't good. We're not very good. Not having a very good year. First year head coach, the AD's gone, the president's gone. That hired him. I said, I'm gonna try to get first job I can get south. I was going south. I wasn't,
right.
And it just happened to be that South Carolina, had an opening, and Coach Holtz, called me and interviewed and all that. And again, just very fortunate to have the opportunity to coach there. And
that's nice.
That's what's up. So then you leave there and you go to Middle Tennessee State.
Yeah.
And coaching job there. Am I correct?
Yeah, you're exactly. I was at South Carolina 2 years, 1 year with Coach Holtz. And then when he retired, Coach Spurrier came in. And again, I was fortunate enough that he retained me. And I coached there 1 year with him. And then that was the 2005 season. And then I was offered a job here in 2006. So this will be my 16th year here.
Okay, cool. Man, congratulations. That's a long journey. You said almost 31 years of coaching.
I wish it was 31, but it's 39.
39,
man.
This will be 39, yep.
You've been coaching all our lives, Coach.
Yes, since we were born.
Yeah, you've been around the game before we was even born, man. Excellent quarterback. And then you go to Middle Tennessee State. You end up, coaching a lot of young guys, and then you end up coaching your son, man. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, that's nice.
Jermaine, KJ, it's that was a tremendous, something I'll never take for granted. Just I told Brent when he came here, I said, you can win the Heisman or you can never come off the bench, but I don't want this to affect our father-son relationship. And
that's right.
And because that was more important to me than anything. And you hear all the horror stories of, father-son coaching, how it never works, all that stuff, especially in this day and time with social media and everything, and especially with him being a quarterback. But it worked here. He was a great player. But what I enjoyed probably as much as, or the most of anything, not as much, the most was just being able to see him every day and to watch him, how he interacted with his teammates, how competitive, how tough he was, what a great leader he was, those things that when you're in high school, you hear those things when people say them to you, but now I got a chance to see it firsthand. And, and I tell people all the time, Jermaine, KJ, that you could come to our practices, and if you didn't know who he was, you wouldn't know he was my son, because I did not treat him one way different than I would have treated you, KJ, or a way I would have treated you, Jermaine. He wasn't going in the locker room and saying, hey, coach is going to give us off tomorrow. He was, you didn't know, if you didn't know his last name, you would not have known he was my son. And to me, it just, I created a lifetime of memories. And we shared a bunch of special wins together, great games together, but just to be able to see him every day and walk down the hall and say, how you doing, bud? It was really a unique experience. And I tell people all the time now that if you get an opportunity to coach your son, whether it's in Little League or high school or Pop Warner or college, man, do it. Because if you don't, you'll look back and you'll regret those 4 hours a day that you could spend with him.
Well, we got a clip right here with Brent, and he's just like you. He always wanted to coach, so we're gonna show that real quick, and he's just breaking down some film and just talking about playing the position. Okay.
All right. This will be.
Stockstill gets it. Here he throws it down. Back shoulder caught. C.J. Wyndham on first down. Stockstill play action. Looks down the seam. Got a man there. Tucker into the end zone. Tucker. Sweet as sugar. Stockstill gets the snap. Steps up. Throws toward the end zone. Has a man up there. Caught. Touchdown. Ruben Garnett.
This guy, Ruben here, he didn't play much early on in the year. He was a special teams warrior for us. He was on every special teams, making plays week in and week out, kind of like the unsung hero type deal. And then, as you can see, he's kind of starting to bump off. Then I checked Shane. He's kind of covered up here, and I just trust Ruben. He did a great job of kind of getting into the guy, almost stepping on his toes. And then you see all that grass up top. So started with the O-line, kind of worked in the pocket a little bit, and then
drop it right in.
Yeah, made a nice little throw.
Breaking down film, it's a big part of your game.
Yeah.
And I know you want to be a coach one day, is that right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Is that your goal? Is that what you want to do?
Yeah, for sure. I've known that I wanted to be a coach for a long time, and just throughout, my whole life, and then playing college football, I built a lot of strong relationships throughout the coaching profession, and been around a lot of great coaches, and that's just really enhanced my, my dream to be a coach.
Go score! Go score! Go score! Go score!
So breaking down film.
Yeah, so
it's nothing. What do we got here?
We knew we were going up against a really good defense, two really good D linemen.
This guy has a chance to have more sacks than anyone in the history of college football with one more tonight. He has 43 and a half, Javon Roland-Jones.
So we knew we had our work cut out for us, especially on third down. They're really good. So this is kind of like a run-pass option. So a lot of people in college football, most everybody's doing this now. So it's a run play up front. So you can see these guys up front all blocking.
Look at Chandler.
Yeah, run play, Big Brew coming across. And then we got a little pass concept up top. So these guys, we knew coming into the game that they were going to kind of play it like this, outside leverage. We hit it on them once or twice, and then they did a good job of scraping this guy over the top whenever he felt it was coming. So kind of fooled me there a little bit, a bad decision on my part. But sometimes when you make bad decisions, there's still room to get out of it. So I was able to just kind of come out and, outrun a big boy and pick up the first down. So that's just kind of part of playing the position. I feel like everybody kind of gets into looking at the, how far can you throw it, how tall are you, all that stuff. But to me, it's more about, not this stuff, but just kind of just your feel for the game when the lights come on, what you're going to do. And I feel like that's the most important part about playing the quarterback position.
I agree. What did this game mean for you, for your team, for your family, for Blue Raider Nation? What did the game mean?
It meant everything. That's kind of been the monkey on my back. The 2 years before that, I was able to get us to bowl games, and just to, come out on top in a really, action-packed game. I didn't play my best, threw a couple interceptions, and the way our defense, held such a high-powered offense in check. I mean, and to be able to just share that celebration, with my teammates, with my dad, it was special, and it's one of those feelings that I won't ever forget, and hopefully we have one more of those to come this year.
A lot better highlights than mine, aren't they?
He said a lot better highlights than yours.
Yes.
So, your son broke a lot of records in the conference, in NCAA history. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, Jermaine, he's got all the passing records here at Middle Tennessee. He's got every one of them. And then he's in the top 25 in total passing yards and total with 13,000, 14,000 yards. And then total touchdown passes 106, in NCAA in the history of college football. So he's up there with some elite people. So like I said, he had a tremendous career, and I was able to watch every one of them and to be with him and celebrate those. And, we had some lows along the way also, but like I said, man, it's just it was a true blessing to be able to experience what I was able to experience with him, those 4 years that he quarterbacked us.
Hey, Coach, did he get an opportunity to go pro?
One more time, KJ?
Did he get an opportunity to go pro, your son?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. He went to the Raiders, with their rookie mini camp, and then the Tennessee Titans. But they did not, he wasn't there long. And he could have gone, he was offered a contract in Canada, to play there. But, he just felt like, he'd accomplished everything he wanted to. And my man, Kyle, KB.
Yeah, what's up, Kyle?
That he was ready to get on. If he couldn't play in the NFL, that he was ready to get on, coaching, start his coaching career. So, he made the decision to do that. So he had a couple shots there in the NFL, didn't work out. And, and he's gone in the coaching profession now.
Okay, cool, man. So right now you guys getting ready for the season, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Who you got on your schedule? I forget. What conference are you guys in again?
We're Conference USA.
Okay, cool.
Marshall,
so I know you guys kicking off the season what month here?
September 4th. That's a Saturday.
September 4th.
Yeah. We open up with Monmouth, which is a 1AA team, up north. But, they're number 3 in the country. They made the playoffs this year. They're a really good team. And then we go to Virginia Tech the next week. And then we've got UConn somewhere in the middle of the season, and Liberty University there in the middle.
All right.
And then our conference schedule, which is, Marshall, Charlotte, close to you guys. You guys need to come to that game. It's 2 hours up the road, so you can come. And
yes, sir.
And then Southern Mississippi, the Florida Atlantic, Florida International, Western Kentucky, the rest of Conference USA schedule that we play.
Okay. That's cool, man. That's cool. Yeah. So you guys had any members to go in the draft this year from your school?
No, we didn't have any. We didn't have anybody drafted, Jermaine. We had an offensive lineman that signed a free agent contract with the Dolphins. He's down there.
Good, man.
Yeah, we got a handful of guys. Kevin Byard is playing safety, for the Tennessee Titans. He isn't now, but the year before he was the highest paid safety in the history of the NFL. He signed a $70 million contract. So somebody else has got that now. But we got another safety that plays for Cleveland Browns. We got a defensive end with the Miami Dolphins. We got a receiver, Richie James, who was Brent's receiver when he was playing here. He's with the 49ers. So we got a handful of guys, and just had a few guys retire in the last couple of years. So we're not Clemson. We're not Alabama where we're putting, 10 guys in a year, but, every year we'll put a couple guys in there, whether they're drafted or free agents. So we've got good players here. We got good coaches here and developing these guys. And, at this level, Jermaine, KJ, we got to take that 2-star guy, that 3-star guy, that underdog, that guy that's got a chip on his shoulder that wasn't maybe quite big enough, quite fast enough, to go to Clemson, so, we've got to bring him here and then develop him and do a good job of evaluating, his growth potential and his talent level, so I really enjoyed, that challenge part of it, of getting those guys here.
That sounds good. That was a great way of breaking that down, the difference between divisions and the level and what type of player you're looking for to come to your university. So where can people, find you at? I know you have a lot of social media accounts, Twitter and Facebook. They want to get tickets and they want to come root for the Middle Tennessee State Tigers.
Yeah,
Where they need to go, Coach? Let us know.
Tell all them Clemson people and South Carolina people, we need to we don't need to follow me on Twitter. We need to send some donations up here. I mean, Billy D's got so much money. He just stashing it away. All those guys, just send some money up this way,
Right, man.
That's right. I mean, IPTAY, what is it? I mean, they send us $100. They don't. Clemson doesn't need that. KJ, Clemson. I mean, well, they've already paid for that slide and everything. They don't need any more facilities there. Tell them to send some money Stock's way.
Yeah, I got you, man. I'm gonna talk to him, man.
Yeah, no, Jermaine, I like to say I'm a reader, not a tweeter. So I'm on that Twitter a little bit, Instagram, but it's all at Coach Stock. And but yeah, tell all them Clemson people and Tommy Brown down there at OW. I know Tommy's got a bunch of money, and we can send some my way too.
Okay.
We'll let them know.
Yeah, please do. Because when I call them now,
shout out before we leave. I know it's Mother's Day. Any special shout outs to family, friends, and fans or anything?
No, I just it's to me, if they had a Hall of Fame for mothers, they need to put all of them in there because it's a special woman, and whether it's your mom, somebody else's mom, just make sure you appreciate them and let them know, and just, all the moms of the guys that I coached or recruited, just, how special they are, and they always will be, and just, it's, they deserve more than one day to be honored. I can tell you that. And
that's right. Yes, sir.
So just make sure it's their day tomorrow. Just
okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Whatever you want.
Coach, we got a new sports apparel shop. Have you checked it out yet?
Well, I lost you, Jermaine.
I said we got a new sports apparel shop. Have you checked it out yet?
Yeah, I mean, I saw Billy D. He said he got his free.
Oh no! Where you hear that at, man? Whoa! Where you get your information from?
I mean, all you got to do is tell me, where to send the money, and I'll buy. I want one of those hoodies.
Okay. All right.
I want a hoodie. I need an extra large, and just
with gold chains.
Oh yeah, 2 chains. I'm 2 chains. I'm Nipsey. I'm Nipsey music and Tupac music. That's the only 2 I listen to. So send me some. How much does it cost, KJ?
Okay. So, Coach, what would your favorite?
No, how much does it cost?
With the hoodie?
How much that hoodie cost, KJ?
Hey, Jermaine, how much the hoodie, man?
Oh, they like between $32 and $37.
Between. All right, I want the 32 one.
Okay, cool.
32.
We got that. We got all black and we got a gray one at $32. An extra large. Wait right for you, Coach.
That's right. What color? What color now?
We got gray, we got midnight blue, we got black,
We got drip for sale.
We got drip for sale. We got orange.
No, I want
we got the colors for Middle Tennessee State. Orange.
You got orange and maroon. You got OW colors.
Yeah. You know, we keep the OW colors. We got maroon as well. Yes, sir.
I want to gray.
You know, got to keep that cardinal maroon. But what I was going to say is we also have a Spotify. You'll be on there as well, and YouTube. For those who are watching, we need you guys to follow and subscribe to those channels as well. Anything else you guys want to add before we head out?
I want to ask KJ a question.
Go ahead.
Oh, here we go.
How deep is your closet?
How deep is my closet?
Yeah, because every time you on here, you got more clothes than that Belk's clothing store.
You do?
You get yours from MH Frank there in Clemson, don't you? that looks like that high dollar suit down there at MH Frank.
Hey, I gotta look good for you, Coach, man. Hey, you took a chance on me, man. Yeah.
Hey, this is better than Billy D's show, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. Oh wait. Nah, don't give me that. See how you trying to set me up, man.
Billy D isn't on here.
He's watching.
No, he's cutting grass. Hey, but all my boys now, I love you. Clemson, South Carolina, all of y'all, man. I love you.
Yeah.
And I just appreciate you and respect you so much, man. KJ, love you, brother.
Thank you for giving me a chance, man. I probably wouldn't be sitting here today if it weren't for you. Thank you.
You earned that chance. You earned it. Nobody gave it to you. You earned it.
That's right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, we appreciate you coming on, Coach. It's been a great show. You guys have tuned in to another edition of Sports Shop 27. I'm your host, Jermaine Colter, and to my far right, Kevin Johnson, KJ. And we'd like to thank today's special guest, former Florida State University,
that's right,
Hall of Fame quarterback, and Middle Tennessee State University head coach, Rick Stockstill.
Yes.
Until next
Appreciate
time, be safe, wear your mask, subscribe to our YouTube channel and also on Spotify. And we also have a pair for you. Go ahead and stop by and get your t-shirt, your hoodie, and your jersey if you like. All right?
And remember, KJ, it's not how you start.
It's how you finish. There you go,
right.
Folks.
That's right. Not how you start, it's how you finish.
Happy Mother's Day to everybody.
Happy Mother's Day. Love y'all.
KJ.
Love you too, Coach.
All right, buddy.
My man.
Love you, man.